Hello, my name is Mairearad and I am a musician and landscape painter, originally from Mairearad in the northwest of Scotland, and I now live and work from the village of Ullapool. So I work as a performer, mainly with multi-instrumentalist Anna Massey and also with Scottish singer-songwriter King Creosote. I also do a bit of teaching, and my favourite thing to do is to write new music. I mostly enjoy working outside to paint. I think the weather definitely ends up on my page, and I suppose you could say that my work is very much an emotional response to the land that I grew up in. I like to combine my art and music as much as possible, really. I think one very much informs the other for me. And my latest project, Hearth, I think showcases this really well. Hearth is a project inspired by the women and landscapes of Coigach, where I'm from. It's 5 limited edition 12-inch vinyl singles, and I wrote all the music and painted the cover designs for each. My processes for art and music are very similar. Before I start any project, I always like to decide on a theme, as that just gives me a bit of focus. So once I have a theme, I like to gather as much information as possible on the subject. That usually involves a lot of reading, researching online, looking through photos, maybe interviewing people. And I like to try and find things that I really connect with and that mean a lot to me. Often it takes me quite a long time to process things, so I'll spend hours on end just looking out my window and absorbing all that information and deciding how I'll approach the work. I think it's really important to look to other artists for inspiration. Before recording my latest project, Hearth, I made up a mixtape of all the kind of things I was really enjoying listening to, and that is very much Icelandic composers at the moment, such as Ólafur Arnalds and Sigur Rós. It's incredible to listen to their approach to production, and the sounds are just really, really lush. Joan Eardley is definitely one of my favourite painters of all time. I often try and channel her when I'm out in the wild Scottish weather. I'm also a big fan of John Bellany's work, Barbara Ray, David Tress, Will McLean, Marion Leavin, the list goes on and on. I think one of the best things about art and music is that you get to develop new skills all the time. In order to do that, you do need to practice a lot. Part of my daily routine is practice and playing every day, whether that's on my accordion, on the piano, on my bagpipes, singing, or sketching in my sketchbook. When I'm on tour, there's usually a lot of time hanging around waiting for things to happen, and that's quite a good opportunity to get my sketchbook out. I really enjoy going to coffee shops and sketching people while they drink and chat away. I use it as a bit of a personal journal. I do a lot of writing in it, and I think it is great practice. It's good to train your eye, and there's no pressure to produce an end product, but you can just have fun sketching. So after a lot of practice, play and a fair amount of procrastination, I do then get started on pieces of work that will eventually become something. I think my final pieces end up being quite intuitive and expressive, and I work quite quickly, but I think that's because the build-up has been so intense, and that allows me to then be really fearless and just go for it when the time comes. The energetic and fearless approach with the paintbrush usually comes after a lot of time just sitting and looking, and I do spend a lot of time mixing colours also. My approach to composition is quite similar in that I spend a lot of time at the piano, and when I'm really relaxed, the melodies do arrive quite quickly. I deliberate a lot longer on the lyrics, and once the music is written and arranged, I then usually rehearse with other musicians. I perform the music live. I'll go into a recording studio, it'll get mixed, mastered, and then eventually made into some kind of product. It's a very rewarding job, and I definitely don't take it for granted to do the two things that I'm very passionate about as my work. I am very thankful to have grown up in Achnaheard and have that real strong sense of place and identity, and I think that will continue to inform my work for probably the rest of my life.